Hey guys, what a weekend in Major League Soccer. Charlotte got their first W in pretty dominant fashion.
Good for them.
There was a wild comeback in Atlanta, and Chicago got their second win in a row.
Now, Vince, if the Fire scores a goal and no one is in Soldier Field to see it, do they really score a goal?
You would. You know, that's
I'm
not
kidding.
very nice.
I'm kidding.
Officially, it counts.
Relax. I guess so.
He's not kidding. He's not kidding. This is the Expansion Mansion.
Welcome to another episode of the Expansion Mansion. We are back and ready to recap the last match day before a massive international break. Here to do it with me are Max Bretos, the great Max Bretos, and Vince Rosa.
Why were you laughing so hard to start the show?
Has anyone ever heard of the energy drink Balls?
BAWLS. I'm enjoying one right before the show. I did enjoy one.
You're enjoying what?
Oh, let's move on. Hey guys,
Balls.
don't forget to subscribe to this. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. We're nearly
Guilty.
across 1,000 subs.
Let me handle this, Vince.
Oh, okay.
Where's the camera? We're 6 away from 1,000. So if you're on here, we appreciate all our supporters. Get some other people, talk to them. Let's get to 1,000. If we get to 1,000, we will sing the song of your choice on here. We'll get up and do a song.
On the table. We'll stand on the
All right,
table.
we will check in a few minutes. Let's get 994. Let's get to 1,000.
Yeah.
We're building.
Call your friends.
Like 6 more, right?
Only 6 more.
6 more subscribers.
We believe in you.
Tell your family
You
this
guys
stuff.
are always there for us. We think you guys can do this. 6 more subscribers. And actually, we're not going to start the show until we get them. No, I'm kidding.
No.
Everybody here we know subscribes because you guys are awesome, and it's great that you join us. And you're digging the show, and we appreciate that. And it's our show. It's our show.
It's your show, Max.
No, it's not. It's ours.
Are you guys good? Okay.
We're good.
All right.
Take it away, Vince.
Enough of that. Let's dive into the biggest storylines making their way across the country's virtual water coolers with #trending.
What?
Hashtag
Two
trending.
things. One, virtual water coolers. And what is this?
That's the move, no?
No. We talked
When you do a
about this
hashtag?
before. 5 subscribers now.
My guy, Don Ramon.
There we go.
Don Ramon, all
There
right.
you go.
Countdown to 1,000. That's what this show's all about. Okay, guys, in MLS,
You
let's.
got to have Ramon Chavez on the show one day. Just saying. My guy in
Hey,
Phoenix.
whoever is the 1,000 subscriber, maybe we'll bring you on the show.
There you go.
But let's start in MLS, and you know a good place to start? The top.
Yeah.
Right now, LAFC are undefeated. How many undefeated teams were there? 6. There's still 6.
There's 6 left.
unbeaten.
It's LAFC, RSL, Minnesota, Philly,
Okay.
Columbus, and Chicago.
Chicago.
And there's 3 teams that have won 3 of their first 4.
Okay.
So
But the very
scoreless.
top is LAFC due to goal differential. Surprisingly, though, tied with them at least on points, RSL.
Is it?
I don't know what to make. That's what I'm about to ask you. I don't know what to make of RSL because they won in New England in a game that Carlos Gil called not soccer, but incredible comeback, 3-2 comeback. Now they beat a Nashville team, which I don't know what to make of Nashville anymore. So did we underestimate Pablo Mastroeni's team? I mean, they lost their best player. Albert Rusnak is no longer on their team.
Look, I think this is less, in a weird way, less so about RSL and more so about MLS as a whole. 4 games in, I've said it time and time again how competitive this league is. To me, it's not surprising that there are these 6 teams that are undefeated. And if you told me that RSL was at the bottom of the table coming the end of the season, I wouldn't be surprised. But if you told me that they were a higher up playoff contender, I would also not be surprised. That's the great thing about MLS is, you can have a really good team. Pablo
Mastroeni.
Legend.
USMNT legend.
And the group of guys they have in RSL, it shows that maybe you don't need an all-star caliber team, but if you have a good group of guys who can just grit out results and get goals when you need it, you could go 4 games undefeated.
2 set-piece goals. No David Ochoa. They didn't even need David Ochoa, who I guess is their start. Well, Krylock, Ochoa are kind of the two.
What
stars of
did
that team.
McMath get Team of the Week too?
McMath, team of
Matt
the
got
week.
in there. I mean, Justin Merrim had a big game. Bobby Wood has rejuvenated himself
Big ups,
there.
Bobby
I mean,
Wood.
people are talking Bobby Wood to the national team. I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, a little too far.
It's a little too far, but he scored that really great goal last season in the playoffs
Good for him.
to get him into the Western Conference Finals. So there's good pieces. They have some good young academy players that always get thrust in there. They have the USL team, the Real Monarchs, which is a great feeder team. It has a lot going for them. Are they going to be there at the end? I don't think so. But the victory over New England was a bit of an outlier, we'd say. But now, coupled with a win at Nashville, they have a good home field advantage. If Nashville gets some road wins, and they got one last week, they get 2 or 3 of those, they're going to be in the playoffs, and then nobody wants to play them in the playoffs. They're a good playoff team.
But credit where credit's due. Congratulations, RSL. 4 games undefeated. They've pulled together some pretty good results.
The Bobby Wood talk to the national team. It's not happening, but that's a precursor of things to maybe come on this show. But let's move on. Let's move on to the weirdest, wildest game of the weekend. It was Montreal-Atlanta, which I guess if you're looking at your schedule, you're like Montreal-Atlanta, they don't really have a history together. Montreal just played in CCL. They had a pretty heartbreaking loss to Cruz Azul, although they put up a good performance. But then they're boat racing Atlanta. They're up. They look cleanly up. Can we talk about the Jordi Mihalovic goal? Have you ever seen anything like that?
Beautiful for Mihalovic. One of the worst conceded goals you'll see in many years in Major League Soccer.
For a lot of reasons. You have your own corner.
Brooks Lennon plays this ball that just...
You try to play a ball across your defense with only one guy back. Then you're so far pushed up that the offside rule doesn't matter in that part of the field. And then Jordi Mihalovic, like, where's Brad Guzan should have just like tipped his cap and kept running. Like, see ya later. I'm out.
Or just go through Mihalovic or something.
Or just
Don't do a
stand there.
little
I think even
spin.
just standing there would have been better.
Don't do a spin. What is that?
Right.
He was trying to, if Mihalovic would have squared the ball, he was trying to overcompensate for the area in which he would have to make up. But
then Atlanta's spurred on by an attempted murder by Dom Dwyer. I would try to rip the guy's leg off.
So very stupid by Dom Dwyer. That challenge did not need to happen, first of all. We were talking before, 15 yards away from the opposition goal. Studs up, late. What are you doing, Dom?
This is what Dom Dwyer's become, right? He's kind of a punchline.
It's unfortunate because him being on Atlanta and getting his career back on the tracks was good news. You know, this is a guy who's done very well in this league. He got on the national team at one point, and then he kind of started to descend a bit. But he's picked it up, and now this. So this is what we're talking about. But Atlanta is a team that we have to ask a lot of questions about. They were fortunate to get back and tie this game, but down 3-1 at home to Montreal. Ring them alarm bells, man. Ring those. That's why this 3-3 is such a result, because Atlanta should be playing better. They're missing some pieces, although Miles Robinson's now back, and they got some good young players, which we'll talk about, and Thiago Almada, but they don't. They're not getting out of that second gear.
It feels like a false dawn, because most teams would be happy about this, and then Thiago Almada scores, which we'll talk about him needing to be big for that team. But like Miles Robinson hasn't been himself. Like, I'm not sure what this team is good at.
But that's what I'm saying. Is there an identity for Atlanta right now, long term and short term? What is their goals? What is their aspiration? What is
buying expensive players from South America?
Right. If you guys are going for MLS Cup, go for MLS Cup. What's so?
Why are you laughing so much?
What? My Cholo Pendleton. What's up, hey?
It's true. You should have buttoned.
What's up, carnal?
You should have buttoned the top button. Max,
good shout. That moment when 110 Football is only 4 subscribers.
3 subscribers, I've been told.
Oh.
So my very direct approach has worked. So we thank you, everyone here. And some people don't think Bobby Wood is going to the national team. I don't think it is, but there's a little check.
Again, save the national team talk. We're going to get to it. Max, can you talk about Thiago Almada?
Bobby Wood on my national
Thiago Almada is going to have to be Miguel Almiron-esque. I don't think any player in this league other than Carlos Vela could maybe do something like that. I mean, what is he going to have to do? But
he looks happy to be there. There was a point where he came on, not in this game, but their last home game. He was taken in by the crowd at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. There's so many cautionary tales for players like him, including his predecessor in Ezequiel Barco that came here and didn't go well. He wants this to work out. This is a big league for young South American players, which we'll talk about a little bit later. You want to stick around for that. But I like Almada, and early returns are that he is at least touching some expectation.
But from Montreal's perspective, you've got to close out that game. There's absolutely no reason.
Yeah.
And also, for that last free kick, say what you want, but that goal should never go in.
Should never go in.
Period.
Not from that distance.
So credit for Atlanta for scraping together a very tough draw. Man down, 2 goals, last 5 minutes, but then also Montreal. What are you doing, man?
We must be doing well on these topics because we're now 2 away from 1,000.
2 away?
2 more.
It's happening. It is happening right now
I
on
can't
the
wait
show.
to meet you, Mr.
On the show,
or
guys,
Mrs.
we haven't even
1000.
gotten to the best parts of the show yet either.
Yeah.
The best performance.
Now we got a problem brewing.
Now.
Do not do that, Gomez.
Don't all wait to be the 1,000th. The best performance of the weekend was clearly Dallas and Jesus Ferreira. He has the hat trick. Oh, I got to talk about Charlotte first.
No.
No.
How do you pronounce his name, Max?
Karol Świderski.
Swiderski. Sorry, I tried
We heard it from
I
an
tried
actual
to gloss
Pole.
over
An
it.
actual
We
Polish
did.
person told us how to pronounce it, so I'm not making
Not
that.
too many people refer to Polish people as like Poles.
Let's move
What
on
is this?
there.
What is this? World War II?
What is this word? No. So
I
Charlotte,
should have asked that before too.
Charlotte, first home goal,
Polish.
first win. I would say Swiderski's first goal does not go in if it's not on artificial turf, but home field advantage, home cooking. They win. It looked like they had maybe some ideas for once. No?
Yeah, fair play. You know, did we do it? As a, what did you say?
I'm applauding because we got to
Bretos.
1,000.
There you go.
We did it. Thank you. Thank you.
It's been nice. We'll see you guys later.
All right.
No.
What do we do?
It was all about. Yeah.
Everybody,
DJ
we're going to
horns.
have a Cholo Pendleton giveaway.
DJ horns. Well, okay. We're stepping on all the Charlotte news, and I mean, I don't know if there's a ton of Charlotte fans on.
Luis, gracias.
Yeah.
It's congratulations, Charlotte, on your first home
We should
win.
give away a
Yes,
Charlotte FC
win.
jersey because that's what we were talking about.
Well,
Yeah.
can we call Al Rate? See if he can get us one?
All right.
We'll
yeah.
get it 1,000
Tickets.
on the back of a Charlotte jersey, and we'll give that away.
Getting back to Charlotte, that was truly surprising. I didn't expect to see that moment, certainly not this season. And if it happened later, maybe not as many people come to these Charlotte FC games because they're not winning, and that's perfectly normal behavior for a team, you know. But they were getting a little better every game, and then they have this explosion, and that crowd going bananas. And I know they made a big deal out of their first crowd, the 75,000, and that's great. But what did we say here? You've got to do it again.
Yep.
Well, they did it again, and now they got a victory. And Miguel Angel Ramirez looking up to the scoreboard, and a big grin comes on his face, and you see all the blue jerseys behind it, and it was loud. You could see it coming off you could hear it coming off your screen. That was one of my favorite moments, if not my favorite moment early on this season,
And then-
because I did not expect to see it.
And then sleeper signing Ben Bender with a
Signing
goal.
draft pick, number one draft pick.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So, you know,
Yeah.
college system is good. Charlotte, as the expansion team geek I am, I'm really happy.
Well, you know
they
what's
got
interesting?
there.
Nothing would have topped winning that first game, but I would say if you knew you were going to lose your second game, like for long term, it's almost better to drop the first one. Everyone's excited, win the second one, and say, look, we're actually really building something.
Yeah.
We're not just here to show up, put people in the
I think
seats."
it actually shows the resilience that team has.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you win your first game and then lose a couple after, it's weird. But this show, what I see is a team that really will grind out results.
And look, we knew they were good defensively. Now we know they can score goals.
I'm just going to break the fourth wall here. Our producer has been telling me to move on for like
a
the
good
past
story. Wait a
comments,
minute.
and Max is like, no,
Charlotte,
no.
what are we going to talk?
No,
We're
I'm
talking
doing
more
it.
Salt Lake, Nashville?
No,
We
you know
should
what we're going to
more
talk was
Charlotte
the
FC.
thing that I really want to talk about, which is where we're going to have a lot of fun, is we're going to talk about Dallas's performance, and we're going to dovetail that into something really fun here. But let's talk about Jesus Ferreira, hat trick, assist. Paul Arriola looks great. They both get called in. People are talking a lot about these players and how they're subpar national team quality in a window where the World Cup is in the balance for the U.S. national team.
Boom.
What
Look at that.
more
I
would
did
you
that
want
with
from
my
these two
mind.
players in a match against a Portland team that, by the way, they pack it in like some
Hard to break
Central
down.
American teams do?
What I would like more of this is for you to give me credit, because week one of expansion, man, said I said FC Dallas.
He did.
It's going to be the surprise team, and that Jesus Ferreira was going to be the golden boot.
Yep.
And
Right
you
now,
also like their kits the best.
they're also chasing Brandon Vasquez.
You like their
who
kits.
has-
Okay, take it back on the kits.
Okay.
Okay.
There's
fair,
two or
fair,
three.
Okay.
There's
Two out of three.
or three kits better.
2 out of 3 are
Charlotte,
bad.
LAFC, Portland.
Okay.
All better. But this is a team, and by the way, I was going to say they're not deep, but I looked at they actually have some punch off their bench. They play with the back three. Plenty of good options in the midfield, in the engine room. Paxton Pomykhal's playing better. Paul Arriola, I know he is. People like to poke fun of him. He had a great game. Scored a goal. Was involved in a lot of stuff. And then Jesus Ferreira, 3 different goals. Not to mention Alan Velasco had the goal last week. Not only is this a good team, it's a fun team to watch, Connor. I don't know if they're going to be a playoff team. I don't know how far they're up there, but I've seen enough that they're vastly improved.
Without injury.
My
Vastly
question
improved from a
is,
year ago.
if Ricardo Pepi goes for $20 million last window, what does Ferreira go for?
He's
if
a-
he does,
he's
leave?
a more functional
he
player.
might be more valuable. I don't know if it's 20 million because that was probably
we-
more than Pepe, and he may not get 20 million after it's all said and done because of how things might come down because he's not playing. I think Ferreira could be a more
Because
valuable
we
player.
talked about how Pepi and Ferreira are 2 very different players,
Mm-hmm.
but does his versatility play into him being probably more valuable? In the
It does raise his value. His functionality, he can probably play on the wing. He can play as a 10. We've
False.
now seen he can play as that false 9 and kind of lead the line. I would say that he's a true false nine in the regards that he doesn't go too deep. Like a lot of people assume a false nine goes deep into the midfield. No, he goes just right into that soft space in between the lines, and he can play make from there.
Yeah, he's durable. I mean, he's a slight guy. I mean, he's not a big. If he
tough to get off the ball though.
Tough to get off the ball. He'll give you 90 minutes all the time. He's always there for FC Dallas, and because of Pepe moving around, he's really been able to express him. I love those two playing together, but Ferreira on his own is proven, especially with a guy like Areola extending the field and Velasco settling in. This is a must-watch MLS team.
Really quickly, in terms of MLS, in the Western Conference last season, Texas teams, California teams, no one made it. Now you have Dallas, Austin, LAFC, LA Galaxy. Then there's Houston and San Jose. But we can talk about those guys.
But maybe 4 out of those 6 make the playoffs.
4 out of those 6 probably make the playoffs this year.
At least 3.
All right. Well, let's keep talking about Paul Areola and Jesus Ferreira, but let's shift gears a little bit here. Let's go to the U.S. national team. Because as of right now, as I said, their World Cup hopes are on the line in this final window. And those two guys we think are going to play a big role. And there's somebody that knows a little bit about qualifying for the World Cup and what it takes to make it. Heath Pearce is going to join us from CBS, from Four Soccer Ventures. There he is.
Whoa.
Oh, with his national team jersey in the back. He knew the assignment.
Yeah. What's up, guys? How are you? It's good to see you guys.
Good.
What's up, Heath?
Look at those teeth.
Are you allowed to see Max Bretos less than 24 hours after a call with him, or are we breaking protocol here?
Only in our non-military garb, we're in civilian our civilian wear, so we're allowed to see each other.
So Heath, you and I have actually talked a little bit about Jesus Ferreira in that false nine position, and initially I was of the mind he can do it, but do we want him to do it? I'm gonna say I was wrong. He looked really good in this game. I know it's a small sample size, but what are your thoughts?
Yeah, my problem with the false nine in the way that the national team plays against, or teams play against the national team, is just they're tending to sit back. They're sitting deeper. Obviously against Mexico, I think it's going to be a little bit more wide open, but when you play against Panama at home in the game that I think is the most important, if Panama's going to sit back and hit you on the counter, they're going to block off all those passing lanes. And we're not Manchester City, we can't have Phil Foden rotate with Gabriel Jesus, and you can work in a number of different players until you get to the Champions League final and play Gundogan and mess it all up for over tinkering. That's a joke, but
you over tinkered.
Thanks for explaining.
He over tinkered there, but it is functional, I think, in certain cases. But we do need to have a target striker there at times, somebody that can occupy the center backs, hold the center backs up, hold up play, draw fouls, do a lot of that dirty work, which I think Jordan Pifot can do at a higher level than not Gabriel. Now I've got Gabriel Jesus Ferreira can do in that position. I think he's been great. Obviously, when he's scoring goals, you can't argue that, but that's at the club team level. And at the national team level, I think he's been very busy in the box, but I'd still rather go with a more traditional striker, given the context of the way teams line up, the way that they bunker in, the way that you need a striker that's more active in the box and not somebody that's going to go drifting off and play that false nine, going looking for the ball more often.
So we're not all coming to the conclusion that the number 9 USA needs is Bobby Wood?
No, but we're just
Have you heard this, Bobby?
He's going to tell you yes.
Yes. Let's hear it.
Hey, at a certain point, Bobby Wood was the next Charlie Davies, in terms of like this fighting energy, chase everything on the field, make the game more predictable. And if you think about the way in which the team tries to press, and I don't think they're very good at pressing, but Gregg Berhalter wants that team to press high up the field, win the ball in good spots, and then 1, 2, 3 passes, you're somewhere in and around the goal frame. And a Bobby Wood type, if it is indeed a true form that he's in right now, I think could be helpful in terms of the way in which the team can win the ball in better spots. It's a little bit late to bring in a Bobby Wood into this conversation right now, but certainly could have used him at other points. Having said that, Ricardo Pepi is great at pressing the game as well, as also a high energy pressing striker and things like that. So I think we do have some tools at our disposal, but the number 9 is one of our weekest positions in terms of form right now.
Who starts for you?
I think it has to be Jordan Pifot.
And Azteca, okay.
At Azteca, yeah, I think Pifot, because I think he can occupy the center backs. He can scrap for those balls. I think set pieces are going to be a big part of winning or getting a result out of this. If you go back to Nations League, I know we have this romanticism in our head of how the U.S. beat Mexico 3 times, and you think about it and you go, wow, we played them off the pitch. We've never played them off the pitch. We scrap and we fight and we outfight them. We're more disciplined. We get our chances. We get our set pieces. We bury those set pieces and we win those games. And I think Jordan Pifot plays into that advantage as well, especially playing away from home. It's not the same Mexican national team that we've seen in the past. It's not the time of year that's more difficult to play in. It's only half capacity at Azteca. So I think all those combined give some advantage back to the U.S., but having a striker like that could keep those center backs honest, make the game more predictable, I think will certainly be helpful.
So, Heath, the hot topic in this window among U.S. national team Twitter, which is a horrible place, never go there.
I love a hot topic.
Yeah, it's a hot topic. It's how we're replacing guys, why guys aren't getting looks that haven't been part of the group. You've been a part of a qualifying group. This is the final window. It all comes down to this. And what people aren't saying is that in this final window, we are in second. It's not like anyone's ran away and qualified way ahead of us. But talk to us about how you integrate a guy. Like, what would it take for a coach to say, this guy hasn't been with the group almost the entire qualifying campaign, I'm going to start him in Azteca? Like, what mindset would you even have to be in for that to happen? Or am I way off base by even talking about this?
I mean, that was sort of the Ricardo Pepi introduction when we saw him and got his game against Jamaica. He got his game against Honduras. You kind of throw him in. The national team is about form. If you look at the way that they built rosters for the World Cups, a lot of the times after you get to 17, 18 and a 23-man roster, you're looking at players that you know that you can throw in at any given time. During my cycle, we had Edson Buttle was brought in, went to the World Cup. Herculez Gomez wasn't part of any of sort of the build up to the World Cup. He went to a World Cup because he was in form. We had Robbie Finley. Yeah, he went to a World Cup based on form. And so,
Heath, I don't want to interrupt you here, but I think maybe I'm conflating two things here because I get it. When you're in hot form, you go to the World Cup. It's a short sample size, 4 games top. But what about qualifying? I mean, doesn't he have to go to the guys that he knows he can rely on, or
that he knows? Period.
Yeah, that he knows. Period.
Well, that's why I think he'll go with. I personally think he'll go with an Aaron Long because he knows him in terms of throwing him in. He hasn't been in a long time. He's been injured for a long time. He's been good so far to start the season, but he's a guy that Gregg really likes and trusts, and he's a great athlete. He can put out fires. He can do all the things that I think Gregg Berhalter wants him to do. That's at the center back position. That's right up the spine. It would be easy to go with Robinson, but I don't think Miles Robinson is in great form since his last World Cup qualifiers, as well as playing for Atlanta United, getting a double yellow recently as well. And so I think he's going with something different. But for a striker, that's a hot hand. You want to feed that hot hand no matter where you're playing. And yeah, Jesus Ferreira is also in fantastic form right now. But I think he presents something a little bit different or something very different than what Jordan Pefok does. I think they're both threats. And you're right. It could be a Jesus Ferreira, but he's also pretty new in the national team and hasn't had a ton of runs in the squad. A lot of this team hasn't. Like, if you went with guys that you knew, you would say John Anthony Brooks should be back in the team because he's played in the World Cup and he's been in big games and he's played in Champions League and he's been in difficult moments. But it's a lot more than that anytime that you're building a roster. And the national team is just so different than the club level, where part of it's form, part of it's the club that they're playing at, part of it's how they fit into your system, and part of that's all coming into a time and a window of the results that you're trying to get. So it's a difficult thing to navigate and manage that I think the rules play a little bit differently than they do at the club level.
So we here at the Expansion Mansion love to talk things all MLS. Today, it's a little bit different. We're talking a little bit of USMNT. Heath, honest opinion. This is a weird time to start debating this topic because last window before the World Cup, for the qualifiers.
Yeah,
I know where you're going.
Where do you stand regarding MLS players within the USMNT?
MLS versus Europe.
MLS versus Europe.
Oh man, this is the endless debate. And I know, look, the Twitterati hate MLS.
But even though most of Europe came from MLS, a good percentage of
they did start here.
Here's the argument now. Yeah, it's exactly that. Every player, with an exception of maybe Christian Pulisic, has now attributed part of their success to MLS academies, right? Almost every single one didn't come, Serginho Dest, right? Those are probably the two in the national team that don't have some sort of connection point to an MLS academy at some level. And so I don't buy into it. Yes, I do think that I played in Europe. I played in MLS. I think Europe presents different challenges in terms of your career. It's also a very difficult place, difficult in different ways than it is in being in MLS. But I like Jordan Morris. I like Paul Arriola. Look at the form that he's in right now. We were just talking about it on a show earlier today about, with Charlie Davies, of who's one player that you think is going to have a big moment in this qualifying window. And for me, it's Paul Arriola. He's kind of got that game changer ability. And while he's not going to be the flash that you want from a young Timo Weah who's not getting time in Europe, he is playing consistently. He is in good form. And I like him as a player. Now, when you go deeper, when you go into more of the nepotism world, then I start to agree with a lot that's on the internet. I'm glad Jossie Zardes isn't brought in because he's not in great form. He's not playing, and I think he's past his international level. But I still like the core contingent of MLS players, and I don't think you should take preference of players playing in Europe. We have a bunch of national team guys that are playing in Belgium. Belgium's not
Nope.
a super league.
Nor is the Swiss
Dutch
league where PFOC
Yeah, the Swiss
plays.
league's not, and PFOC doesn't. But like PFOC is scoring consistently. His team's not in first place. He's continuing to get goals. They had a change of managers. He's continuing to play well. David Wagner's out. I think that there's a form thing there that's worth looking at, just being something different, because I think he'll get a move in the summer to a bigger club as well. But yeah, overall, it's not, we're not talking about how do you compare FC Dallas to Juventus. We're just talking about players in general, and I think there's a big difference there. And I'm all for MLS players at any point of their career, if they're in good form and if they're quality players, of getting runs in the national team.
Injuries, a big problem for Gregg Berhalter, Chris Richards, Matt Turner, Serginho Dest. In the midfield, Weston McKennie's the biggest one, and now Brendan Aronson, who could be a midfielder, also out. How do you see Gregg Berhalter addressing that, specifically in the midfield, and specifically, who do you think, because we haven't heard from it yet, unless I missed it while we were on the air, who is going to come in for Brendan Aronson?
Well, here's what's, I'm not a Gregg Berhalter disciple whatsoever. I like what he's done. But when everybody was talking all that mess all this time about Gregg Berhalter, oh, we're changing the team, look at all the formations, and I was one of them. We've now got a far more experienced team because of the rotation that we use during these triple fixture windows, where now you have players that you can actually trust and bring in. If we would have had this and nobody got any games over this period, and it was the same exact 11 over and over again for three matches every window, and then the couple double windows, I think we'd be in big trouble of having to throw this team into the fire that is this qualifying window. There's a lot more pressure now because they got to qualify. You're playing at Azteca. You got to play Panama and win that game at home, who are also chasing a World Cup berth. And so it's tough to navigate that. I think those injuries do mean something. But look what we have now in replacement. Gio Reyna is back into the team. Christian Pulisic is back in fantastic form and playing at like Chelsea Pulisic level. You've got Timothy Weah, who hasn't been playing much for his club team, but he's great when he's with the national team. He kind of builds his confidence back up when he's with the national team. Yunus Musa is one of my favorite players in the national team as well. You've got more players challenging in the defensive positions. I'm a little bit worried about right back as well, whether that's Reggie Cannon or they go with DeAndre Yedlin, because Serginho Dest was that player. But now that you don't have Serginho Dest, you have a little bit more balance. We were exposed at times with both fullbacks being high and wide and kind of cheating forward. We now have a little bit more of that balance if you were to play, say, Reggie Cannon in that position as well. And then now Zach Steffen got his minutes in the FA Cup this week, so he's at least got some rhythm going on right now. So while you can make a lot out of that, we're showing some depth in this team that I think we're still capable of at least getting a point, if not more, against Mexico, because Mexico is, again, vulnerable in ways that they haven't before. And then also against Panama, we've got plenty of players that can beat this Panamanian side.
Quickly from you, Heath, before we let you go, we have a horrible history traveling to Azteca, but we have also a horrible history going to the back-end match, Costa Rica. So you just said you think Mexico might be vulnerable to picking up some points. I think if they get 4 points in this window, it's pretty much said and done. So A-team at Azteca, or are you of the mind that you save the big guns for that back half to try to maximize those points?
Yeah, the only player in question that I have for that one is Tyler Adams, because he's on yellow card warning right now, and he's an emotional player, and you know that Mexico's going to try to draw him into certain things like that, or being in that sort of, whether they play with a double pivot with Acosta or not, being in that position, sometimes you have to be able to put out that fire, especially when you have attacking fullbacks, and that could put him in a vulnerable position to be suspended against Panama. That's the only one. I don't think it's a good sign if you roll out a secondary squad or a less than best team against Mexico. I think the points are there against Mexico. Historically, it's an incredibly hard place to play, and it will be again, but you're not playing in the middle of summer. It's not a noon kickoff. It's not a full capacity. It's a half capacity. Other teams have gone down there, whether Jamaica or whoever else, to at least compete in a way that Mexico is not used to. Normally, you play against Mexico, even at home. Mexico's going to dictate the flow of play. They're going to win the possession game. They're going to frustrate you. They're going to try to get you to chase it. They're not doing that as much now. It's not the Mexico of before, at least not at the moment. So I think there is an opportunity there. You play your best team. You get them 2 games in a row, and you just have to have a professional performance in both of those. And I think the U.S. qualifies relatively comfortably before the end of the game or at the end of it. I mean,
ahead of Costa Rica is all I need to hear. Ahead of Costa Rica.
Yeah, listen, by the way, and I know I talk a lot, but when I went down to Costa Rica for our 2010 World Cup qualifying campaign, and I was not in the 18 during that window, and I was up in the stands, and we lost 3-0 in that match. I think Brian Ruiz had a couple bangers, but I remember sitting in the stadium, and we were in a luxury suite, which had no luxury whatsoever. There was no luxury to it whatsoever. There was no protection. You were basically like walled in, like you would be in a suite, but people could reach out and touch you from all directions. And we were being like sung at, chanted at, things thrown at us. we were getting beat really bad. And I remember going like, man, even as a fan watching that and the team lose in that game, I was like, this is a really hard place to play. So you don't want to leave it to that game against Costa Rica, no matter how old they are or how aged they are or how they're not the team that they were before. Set pieces can still beat you by any team in CONCACAF, and it's just not a game that I want to leave it up to qualify for a World Cup.
I know.
Well,
Confident based on what he said, though.
But he's confident. So
I'm confident
we bring in
now.
the big guns because this really is the most important moment in U.S. qualifying history. So thank you, Heath. We
Of all
appreciate
time?
your confidence, and we're going to live off that. We're going to live and die by your words here. There goes Heath Pearce, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, Heath.
And it's good to know that Heath knows the way to San Jose.
Yes, he's been there, done that. That was Heath Pearce, guys. You can check him out. He does things with CBS Sports. Obviously, his Four Soccer Ventures. Well, he does everything. He's on camera. He's podcasts. I mean, I don't want to
YouTube space.
I don't want to shortchange him. He does much more work than I do. I'll tell you that.
He's a phenomenon with what he's able to do.
Also
a +1
great
with
guy.
Max Bretos on the LFC. And
He does
a
have
great
that
dude.
spray paint can. Is he a tagger in the top? He had a little.
He's
I saw that.
a bit of an artist.
Okay.
HP.
All right, let's move on. Let's still talk about some intercontinental play, but let's do it within the confines of the club
Your
game.
comments about
Nope.
the U.S. team and people looking forward to seeing the U.S.
We talk U.S. stuff because it's what the people want to talk
Yes.
about. All right, MLS entered the CONCACAF Champions League quarterfinals with 5 teams, and now we're down to 3.
2.
2. Yeah, this copy's wrong. I think this is what I get for trusting the copy. I think we still feel pretty good that this might finally be the year MLS wins the competition, but maybe there are a few of you not so sure after that.
Are you
last
reading
go.
the prompter?
I don't want to read it now because I don't trust it.
Couldn't tell.
Yeah, I don't want to try. I don't trust it.
You're like Joe Biden with
guys,
that prompter. You just gotta go, hey man, let me tell you, man.
Let's talk about how our
Listen to
MLS. Let's talk about how our MLS teams how they fared. We'll start with Montreal, who had a tough task against Cruz Azul. Cruz Azul probably still the class of the competition, but
Hardest draw.
they acquitted themselves well. They did have the hardest.
They
draw.
knocked out Santos.
Yeah.
And then they pushed Cruz Azul. They gave an away goal. But Montreal had the hardest draw, and all things considered, did very well. I give them a B+.
Oh wow.
And I will say this: we'll go.
We
through
weren't even grading it.
No, I weren't even grading it. But I think Montreal could hold their heads up high. They scared Cruz Azul. They knocked out Santos pretty convincingly at the end. Remember, we were at the movie screening together.
Oh, you're right.
I was showing. We were in the middle of the Foo
were seeing the
Fighters
Foo
movie. I
Fighters
was showing
movie.
you the scores.
You guys were watching the Foo Fighters movie?
Yeah,
It's fun.
Pretty decent.
God, you're old.
I know. Stop. It's not that old.
What do you mean?
Come
It just
on.
came out.
It's not like I said.
I know, but
Deep
like
Purple here. But
Right. I was gonna say I'd go see your movie sometime, but
damn.
when New England blew that lead to Pumas, everyone's going, oh, here we go again. And I'm like, wait a minute. MLS is ahead of the curve here because you have Santos getting knocked out. You had Seattle knock out León. So that's 2 Mexican teams that have been knocked out specifically
Convincingly.
by MLS teams.
wait,
Yeah.
don't. We're gonna get to those. Don't jump the gun.
Okay, but I'm saying it's still I am very confident this is going to
Okay.
end well for
So-
them. And you know you're
so-
going to get 1 finalist.
So although Montreal do end up getting knocked out, fair play to Montreal. They did probably as good as they possibly could have.
But they almost did better. They were
They
close.
almost did better. And with the roster they have, I mean, they're maybe one good player away from really turning that tie a little bit differently. Fortunately, it's too little, too late. Okay, let's move on to a team that a lot of people have very little confidence in them after their trip to Guatemala. NYCFC looked like they were free and clear against Comunicaciones. And then they subbed out basically their best players.
There's so much more
And then
to it.
Comunicaciones made a real game of it. I think there is a lot to it, but also it really just comes down to them thinking they were free and clear and maybe just making 1 sub too many, I feel like.
It was
Also,
still-
the goals were kind of fluky.
Still, I mean, that's cutting it way too close.
Yeah. No, of course. They should have a little more respect.
I mean, it
for
ended
the
up being an
Guatemalan
away
sides
goal, right?
in Guatemala.
An
It came
away
down
goal
to,
triumph.
But to your point, MLS teams are doing their business.
It's about advancing. So
If
they
a
did
Mexico
that.
team came back and was able to turn it around, we'd say, oh yeah, that's what Mexican teams do. That's what Liga MX teams do. An MLS team does it. Oh, guys, I almost blew it. No, they did their work early on.
did it.
No.
They did it. Same with New England to a sense. It's like you could say Pumas came back, but New England won the first leg 3-0 where it actually went to penalties. So take it how you will.
Yeah.
But that was still a bad result for the
A very
Reds.
bad result.
Are you worried about NYCFC now?
A little bit, but it's weird because now we have 2 MLS teams within the same semifinal bracket,
We have to figure out which one will do better, right?
and I do think it's Seattle. So I'm actually not too worried about New York City FC because I think they're going to lose this game, and that's okay to me because if Seattle make the look, as much of an LAFC fan I am, I want a MLS team to win. the Concacaf Champions League, and I think Seattle has the best shot at it. So I could care less about.
You made a good point about the home field, right?
Yeah, well, I'll talk about when we talk about Seattle, but there's a point to talk about. Yeah, keep jumping. Let's go to where Soccer USA, New England in a downward spiral. They really are. But to your point, Pumas has done this before to a certain Cruz Azul team. They came back from 4 goals down in the Liguilla.
Yep.
This is what they do. They have Mariano was in that chair. You were in that chair, as we do musical chairs, and he said they have the top end talent to do it. It's just a matter of feeding them. New England just allowed them to feed their attackers all day.
But keep in mind, this is also off of a terrible loss to Real Salt Lake in the snow.
Still missing their goalkeeper.
Still missing their
both
goalkeeper.
their top center backs, right?
Then this game, the CCL game against Pumas, where they just absolutely blow it. Say what you want, it's Pumas. They blew it. And then
Also,
now,
they still had a chance in penalties.
Now losing 3-1 to Charlotte, a team that has never won before, period.
Yeah.
Look, things change. It's a long season. But you better believe that for New England, it is already a long season.
Yeah. Pumas is...
Does Pumas have a chance against Cruz Azul?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure they do. I mean, this is not an elite Cruz Azul team. Very, very good. I like Pumas. Dineno is a great striker, got a couple of the goals. And I would also add that New England had some good chances to win it in the 90 minutes. Mm-hmm. Got to finish a little better there. But these are two good. This is a really good setup for the semifinals with the 2 Mexican teams. It's going to be very hotly contested, and the 2 MLS teams in the same very way. And the 2 best MLS teams, you'd have to say, over the last 12 months, right?
You know
These
what
are the 2 best.
Saw like people saying this whole thing is rigged. Like, oh, they won a Liga MX team versus an MLS team in the final. No, it's just the best teams playing the best teams.
Right, it's not rigged because it never gets to this point.
Well, and for years and years, it was always a Liga MX team versus a Liga MX team, so it definitely isn't rigged in any way. Let's move on to that Seattle game because to me it was 1-1, but for all intents and purposes they won that game because it was just an impressive performance, especially going down to Leon.
The first leg by 5 or 6.
Yeah, especially going down to Leon. They did everything we've wanted MLS teams to do. Took care of their business in the first leg, really hammered them, made sure they got that 3rd goal, and then the 2nd leg, just a professional performance all the way around.
But that speaks to the quality of MLS. I think
without Rui Diaz.
Without Rui Diaz, I think there's a lot of these teams that can compete with Liga MX teams and all the other teams, whether that be Central America or even South America in some points, because these teams are good enough. It's just a matter of going down to a new environment, kind of playing really physically against really talented players. Look, Seattle proved that, hey, MLS is a force to be reckoned with now.
Seattle's MLS is improved a little bit, not a lot, but Liga MX has come down a bit, and they're kind of meeting each other a little bit closer. You can see it in all the results. Even last season, when we got to the semifinals, Liga MX was irresistible, and you figured they were going to run through it. Got 2 teams in the final, got 3 in the semifinals. I see Jesse Perez picking a Seattle Cruz Azul final, which would be great.
I like Jesse saying Pumas will win if they lose the first leg 3-0.
It seems to be they're the reverse Cruz Azuleado, which is interesting now that they face each other. But yes, on the other side, there's NYCFC Seattle. I like Seattle. I think NYCFC plays the more fun football, the more entertaining football. But after seeing what Seattle did in Leon, I think they're just
more complete team too.
They're just built to go to Mexico. And the thing that you brought up is this. If NYCFC gets through, they have no home field advantage.
Yeah, that's a problem because we've seen how important home field is. Just look at New England Pumas.
To be able
look
to
at all these results where they're so one way, whether it's home or away.
To force Cruz Azul or Pumas to go to Lumen Field, to play on the artificial turf, to maybe the weather might come into play. Like if they can get a good result, I actually trust the Seattle team to grind out a result in Mexico because they already did it against a very good Leon team, very talented team. But they're just set up, man. They're set up with physical defenders. They don't get out of position. Then they've got João Paulo that can play a nice ball, Rusnak that can play a nice ball, and then somehow Freddie Montero is resurrected from the dead, and they don't even need Rui Diaz. But they can. I think Rui Diaz will be healthy.
We'd have to check, but Jesse Perez is seeming that Lodeiro and Rui Diaz will be back, and these semifinals come in April, so we have a couple weeks still. Final at the end of April, so there is time for Seattle to get well.
Okay, quickly, what's the final?
Seattle Cruz Azul. I don't think there's.
I just have a feeling it's not going to be perfect for MLS. It's going to be challenged. So New York City FC Cruz Azul.
I say Seattle Pumas.
Ooh.
Seattle Pumas.
They all sound good to me.
Well, another exciting MLS weekend means more MLS memes. So we have picked out a few of our favorites. Tell us in the chat which one you like the best. Let's start in the Peach State, ATL.
It's also the pecan state.
Is it the Pecan State?
Georgia?
A lot of,
Yeah.
They grow a lot of things there, I
They
guess.
grow lots of very fertile turf.
Look at this. So this was Charlotte.
We did not start in Georgia. This is North Carolina.
This is North Carolina.
This is Tobacco State.
Yes.
Tobacco State.
Tobacco
so
Road.
Charlotte FC posted their full-time score and said no FC's given, right? Because the Revs, their new rebranding, that was their thing. Look, what did the Revs respond? Oh, we'd like to say that you've been here before.
I like
Both were petty. Which do you like better?
I like
the Revs.
Charlotte's because they took the first hit.
Yeah? Yeah, it always seems petty when you respond.
Yeah.
I have this rule where you can like drop a bomb in the comments, like a hot take or an opinion or a joke. Never respond to anyone, because the other person wins as soon as you
Yeah.
respond. You know what I mean?
Or just retweet theirs. And then
Yeah.
they'll go, what? That's such a mind mess, you
Right.
know? You're like, what is he trying to get at by retweeting my insult?
All right,
I've
let's
done
go.
it before, it works.
I do.
Did I buy my Scorpion tickets yet? I'm sorry. Is that in Vegas, Juan? I might have to go to a show. Also, Doobie Brothers.
Doobie. Oh,
What?
They have a residency. They
Moving
both have
on.
residencies
Moving
in
on.
Vegas.
Now we actually are, in fact, going to Georgia. Let's check out this second meme.
There we go.
Kevin, all right.
That first one was, although not a meme, was a pretty funny
Yeah,
back
funny.
and forth.
Well, I'll take it. Remembering what a team has posted before. Oh, it's an Always Sunny meme, which
Look at that.
always gets extra points for me.
Why?
Because Always Sunny is hilarious.
Is it?
I like the background.
You don't watch it?
Look at that,
No.
like fluid.
No. Max, I
fluid
think you
graph.
like It's Always Sunny
I've
because
seen a couple episodes. It was okay.
You and this character Dennis, a lot of
Similarities?
corollaries and similarities.
Yeah, I
Also-
think so.
I
Right?
don't mean that in a good way.
I didn't think you did. It never is a good way for me.
I don't mean it in a good way. That's a fun one. It's Always Sunny's fun. Dom Dwyer,
Dom Dwyer.
Dom Dwyer,
Not big.
a memeable soccer player if there ever
A
was.
very memeable soccer
Okay,
player.
what do we got
The
next?
hair and the beard.
What do we got
What
next?
do we got next? This was
Oh, this is great.
the Red Bulls off of.
Wait, no, but this is actual footage of the game, no?
Yes, this is.
That is a Red
footage-
Bull shirt.
Yeah.
Wait, is that actually? I didn't even catch that.
That was
That's a Red
was
Bull shirt.
that was Fletcher.
And that was Darlington Nagbe scored a 95th minute.
That was Fletcher dancing
that.
on the ball, and then the crew just going the other way.
Fletcher
and
dancing
scoring.
on the ball.
And Fletcher going, what happened?
That was right off of a corner, right?
What now? Are they allowed to score? Huh?
Fletcher dancing.
I like
on the
that
ball.
one. That might
I
be my
like that
favorite.
quote.
We want to hear from you guys. What is a favorite?
Did you tell him on
my
your
shirt
shirt?
is Diego Maradona.
Not Jim
What
Morrison.
do you
The
guys
greatest.
like the
Not
most?
Jim Morrison.
What out of those three memes? What was your favorite?
We got I think we got a bonus fourth one.
Oh, we have a bonus fourth one.
Bonus fourth one.
Ba-na-na-na-na-na. Should we take a look?
Ah, the Hindenburg.
For all you history buffs.
Wrong logo, by the way.
Oh, they didn't use the new logo.
Oh, that. You know what? You know what? It's
We
interesting.
didn't make it. It's not
Yeah, we
ours.
didn't
Oh,
make
I
this.
know.
Yeah, just to
I'm telling
just
the person who made it. You know, funny thing is, ever since they did that rebrand, things have started to go
Well,
downhill.
and I mean, saying that we're still so early in the year that to compare
the
revolution
humanity
to
of
the Hindenburg tragedy is a bit much. But hey,
But
I
that's
get
the
it.
great thing about
That's
the
what
internet.
I
memes
understand.
are.
I understand. I understand.
All right,
You understand?
Yeah.
let us
I mean,
know.
everybody died in that thing.
Let us know in the
It was
chat
terrible.
which one was your favorite meme, guys. I'm gonna go.
I like the first one.
It wasn't really a meme though.
I know it isn't, but I like banter between.
Yeah.
I'll go with
MLS
the person on fire with the unicorn.
Yeah, the actual footage of. We can't play MLS footage, so we played that instead, and that gives you a visual
Yeah,
representation. of
it's pretty much. I
that.
got the impression.
I still kind of like the Hindenburg.
We turn our attention from the best on the internet to the best on the pitch. Let's get right into MLS Players of the Week. Vince, please start us off.
My player of the week, I'm sticking with the hometown guy, Ryan Hollingshead, who, as a defender to have a brace, usually gets you some pretty good pub around MLS circles, but I guess not for Ryan Hollingshead. 2 great goals, should have had a hat trick actually. Had that header where he literally held the guy off and finished flat-footed, didn't even have to jump, that's how good he is. And then really a laser into the corner. But besides that, he actually had a very good game. LAFC were finding it troubling to get through the middle. He was finding ways around the corner. He was actually a decoy a lot of times, and Carlos Vela was drifting out wide to the left and creating a lot. And then I think just in transition defense, I mean, other than the chance off the corner, did we really call Dahome's name at all? He was not involved in this game, and Ryan Hollingshead really locked him down. So.
He had that one run.
That's what I was saying. Other than the corner.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
off that
also
corner.
for a fullback to put away 2 goals.
2 goals
is very
for a
impressive.
fullback, and it really, that first goal, LAFC needed it bad because it looked like it was going to be one of those Vancouver-type games, but he got them back on there, really recharged the team, and I will give him Player of the Week. Max, you're up.
See, Alan's with me. What's in Always Sunny? Maybe we can watch it together, Alan. Catch up.
You guys can binge it together?
Yeah, we can binge it together. I was digging my hand in this chair and I found all my old masks here. Great.
Oh, nice.
That's a little disgusting.
I know, it is a little disgusting. My player of the week is Jesus Ferreira. Truth be told, I was a little bit surprised he had not scored in the first 3 games. He came pretty close. Other FC Dallas players, including Alan Velasco, had found the back of the net. But when it rains, it pours. When it finally got going, Jesus Ferreira, in the nick of time, because he's going to be joining the U.S. men's national team in nearby Houston to prepare for the game at the Azteca, he delivered. And really the biggest result of the weekend, FC Dallas beating Portland, humbling Portland 4-1, scoring 3 different types of goals as a false 9. But it looked as a traditional 9-2 in many cases, the little header there at the near post. Jesus Ferreira, I think, is going to be a real breakthrough. And get in line. He is 21 years of age. This is going to be a guy that a lot of European clubs are going to be inquiring about if they haven't already.
So you're starting him in Azteca?
I think I'm leaning towards PFOC. I started to think Ferreira partly because of this performance, but listening to Heath, because I think you have a lot of players that could do the job Ferreira and Pulisic and say Weah, fill some gaps behind. That a traditional number 9 who can just get there. Hopefully there's some set pieces coming in that maybe he can provide a difference. I think
Mexico center backs might be their weak spot.
And look, PFOC is, top scorer in Switzerland. He's scored 10 goals in 9 games. I mean, he's putting up, and I know it's not La Liga or Bundesliga, but he's putting up Lewandowski, Benzema numbers in Switzerland.
Okay. Thank you for that.
All right, I had to preface that.
Move to Connor.
Carlos Vela has put up Lewandowski numbers in America.
Just that 1 year.
That 1 year.
Yeah.
This year, PFOC is, and Champions League goals.
True.
My
It's
player of the
Manchester
week, I will give a shout out first to Ron Matarrita, who I was going to give it to, but then I realized he played against Miami, and anyone kind of looks like Messi when they play against Miami. But goal, 2 assists, fair play. But my actual player of the week will be this guy, who I think...
Say his name. Say his name.
Carol?
Schwiderski.
Why are you?
Someone from
The light
Poland.
is there.
Someone
The
from
light is
Poland
there.
is a.
Or what would you call them?
Well, a
Poles?
Pole. You can call it a Pole. It's not a. It's a perfectly
I
normal.
never said it was.
All right,
that.
we at least-
I'm just saying.
Will you talk about how good he
says
was?
that? No, look, he scored 2 goals. Charlotte's first ever win, that being at home in front of a very packed crowd. This was against a Revs team who, look, we're talking how bad they have been recently. They're a tough team to play against on any given day. And for a Charlotte team who I think the Revs admin had pointed out they had never won before today, let alone score more than 1 goal ever.
True.
For Schwiderski to
Same country as Lewandowski.
to score 2 goals and really pull the team towards their first ever franchise win. That is huge. The stakes were very, very high, and they got their first win. So for me, that itself has given him the player of the week to me.
Well, those were our players of the week. Let's take a look at the full team of the week. And while we're looking at it, guys, start thinking of your questions because we're going to take questions next. But let's take a look at the team of the week. A guy that we didn't touch on that some people were talking about in the chat, Vasquez. I think that's another good shout. I think if we would have had a 4-person panel, I think Vasquez definitely would have gone in there.
He's been great. He's been great, and they've led to 2 Cincinnati victories.
Is he another guy
Also,
that they should consider for
They
the
should.
national
If
team?
he keeps scoring, then World Cup rolls around. Then you've got
The World Cup is when I think that you can bring in a guy that has never played with the national team. If he's the hot hand, a la Hercules Gomez, just go. Just go with him.
Kone for Montreal has been very good for them this season. 19 years old.
Yeah.
Wow.
Is he in the U.S. player pool, or is he from
Canadian.
Oh,
Of course. That's the only reason why he knows him.
yeah. There's nothing better to talk about than U.S. men's World Cup qualifying, other than Canadian World Cup qualifying.
Yes.
I know.
Both
And we'll
very
talk about
satisfying.
that once the Football Without Borders show.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
Now it's time for your questions. There are no questions in there right now, so we have to vamp. So let's hurry up and get some questions.
No. Phil,
So get
we
some
want
questions
MLS
in there.
questions.
Yes.
Weird questions.
Weird questions.
about
World Cup
Vincent
questions,
Attire.
national team questions.
Yes.
I saw a question before.
They want to know what was on my shirt. It's Diego Armando Maradona.
We'd also taken Richard Belzer as a
LAFC 360 show. Someone was asking.
I thought you were going to say Richard. Who is the workout guy?
Oh, it's Richard Simmons?
Richard Simmons. He's got kind of the hair. Yeah. An Argentine.
No one's got
Richard
any
Simmons?
questions.
Vince, is that a lion on your jacket?
These are tigers.
Oh, cool.
That's an inside joke that no one's going to
Inside
get.
joke. Someone in the LAFC 360 show said, "Where are your plaid pants at?" And you put them on.
Boom.
Yeah.
What do you think about
Keeps
that?
them in his car.
Am I allowed to do this?
No one asked
Am I
me
allowed to do this?
What do you think
Is
you
this
are?
allowed?
Yes, I'll
I did it anyways. Yeah.
Who qualifies? How does it end up qualifying? I say
Okay.
Canada.
Canada's won.
Canada's-
USA 2.
Wait, does Canada stay undefeated?
Canada stays undefeated. Yes, they do. They're
And I'm not saying it's very
Panama?
hard. 2 road games.
yeah, two road
Jamaica,
games.
Costa Rica.
Yeah, but we're not playing the U.S. or Mexico. It's easy.
Okay. Soccer USA, should LAFC worry about Orlando? Not yet.
Yeah, not yet, but they should when it rolls around. It's a long trip.
The only thing I would say is you should only worry about Orlando in Orlando. I think if Orlando was coming to the bank, it would be a completely different story. But
Yeah.
it'll be weird. First game back from the international break in Orlando. It's gonna be humid.
Yeah, I would say
tough team
normally
to
I'd be
play.
a little more worried because Facundo Torres scored his first goal and their DP Cara assisted it. So you're like, oh, they're kind of clicking, but now we're going to go on a break. Facundo's going to have a long trip to go down, and Uruguay is in the midst of a dogfight to get into the World Cup. So his mind's going to be elsewhere, and he may not start.
Yeah.
But Orlando has it like they did against the Galaxy. They have a way about them that they can sit deep. They can play a little Portland-esque, but they have a little bit of quality going forward.
Good player, good keeper. Gallese is going to make things very difficult as well.
Wait, is he okay? Chris Whittingham.
Got hit in the groin.
Got hit in the penis.
Yeah. There you go.
It's such an ugly word.
That's
it's not a bad word.
that's
It's
not a
just
bad
a.
word.
I mean, there's.
Wait,
It's a scientific.
can I just say
word.
something? And I know I don't get the show, which is a reference to Chris Whittingham's show. Chris, do you not know that it's not that part of your body that hurts when you get there? It's the.
That's right. It's the.
Do you think
it's
he's
the
ever been
undercarriage.
Do you think he's ever been hit in the testicle?
Everyone has. Every man has.
I mean, yeah.
Well, he doesn't know.
I've been hit there at least 15 times, so everyone's been hit at once.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I think any wickets, I do want to
At
say
least
your question, is it a must-win for the U.S. men's national team versus Mexico? No, but based
I feel
on
like
what
you got to get a point.
But based on what Heath said and what we're feeling, it's attainable. You can get something here. It's not the same Mexico. Azteca doesn't feel like a fortress. It's not going to be full. But let's get to the Luis Hernandez question. Thoughts on having some MLS games during the international break? I
don't love it. I mean, but it seems like it
there's
has
only
to happen.
3.
There's only 3.
So why do they know that these 3 teams they can't make up the schedule with? They want to have games. I understand it, but the value of keeping it clean. Every team has an international player, so I really want to see the league get closer to what they do in Europe and other places.
Will they
have a
take an
clean
actual break?
slate, just no games.
They'll get there, but
They almost got here this time, and then they still had 3 games.
we should chat up Don Garber. What's up with that?
I don't want to bring that up.
He signed that soccer ball we had earlier. Okay, I'm going to make this a thing whenever we do the questions that I put my feet on the table. But now
This is a bad
we're,
look.
We're moving into stoppage time, guys. Stoppage time, as you know, is
I
our
have to
chance
now?
to rant.
Julian Araujo has struggled. He's not the most overrated, though.
Yeah.
Al.
It's our chance to rant about something that's top of mind for us. It can go anywhere. It could be something that we've already talked about. Connor, you're up first, and you're looking feverishly at your cards to figure out what you talk about. They're not on the cards, bro, so I hope you remember.
Might be on the screen.
Connor, go for
Are
your
they on the
stoppage
screen?
time.
I mean,
Here it comes.
Ready?
Here it comes. Make it magically appear. And
Austin,
I like
yes.
how you did that. I'm going to do the same thing.
you didn't remember yours?
I did it for the bit.
I did it.
Austin
remember
FC, they played Seattle this weekend, 1-1 draw. Wasn't their best game, but it was okay. They've beat Cincinnati and Miami, and then drew Portland away, and now drew Seattle home. Now you're playing teams like when they scored 10 goals in 2 games against 2 very crappy Eastern Conference teams. People were like, don't get your expectations too high. And now they've drawn 2 very good Western Conference teams.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, that says, okay, this isn't maybe a title contender of a team.
But is it playoff recipe?
100%
That's a
playoff
huge step
recipe.
for them. That'd be great.
They have
for
a
them.
very well-balanced roster this year. I think they kind of... Driussi, MVP, contender.
He hasn't been quite as good the past couple games.
But I'll just say, in the long run of the season, I think that
Will he
Austin
make my
FC
top
will
10
be
DP?
left.
Actually, I think next show we'll have some DP.
Oh, I have to do
Max
that next
Bretos.
week. I'm excited. I've been thinking about it.
I'm really
Good
excited.
little magic trick to see what your.
I know what mine is.
No, but just do it anyway.
Okay, hold on.
it.
Where's my
Ready?
single?
Let's see. There's David Copperfield.
There it is.
That was awesome.
This goes out to MLS. MLS, I like the way you do your Player of the Week, getting the fans involved. Clearly, we like doing that. We have a chat. We like hearing from our fans. Here's my problem with it. Don't go to sleep before the Western Conference games.
Yes.
Week in and week out, we see Eastern Conference guy after Eastern Conference guy after Eastern Conference guy. Look, I get it. Sports are just better to watch on the West Coast, and they are, because we can watch every single game.
Yes,
We're not super
preach.
tired. And you guys, sleep is important. I know this. I love sleep. So maybe so that you can include someone like a Ryan Hollingshead in your Player of the Week voting, maybe you need a West Coast satellite, maybe like a 110 football, somebody that's following up on all the games from the West Coast to help you
Yes.
out.
We're here. It's
give your
already set up.
workers-
We could easily do. They did that MLS After Dark thing.
Yeah, we
Sorry,
do,
but
we
not
do
a
a high
fan.
five. We'll do a high five
Not
with Doyle.
good.
Go to sleep. We'll take over.
Yeah.
Don't worry, you're in good hands, as we can tell by our great chat. And now we're at 1,000, which
We're probably at
2,000
probably
is
at 2,000
probably
right
just
now, right?
a day away.
I say 5,000.
But
While we were talking.
But I think the league has grown enough. This is a big, beautiful country with many time zones. So why don't we have an East Coast and a West Coast? And let's really make this happen.
Thickety wickets, Doobie Brothers deliver the goods. Maybe they're not big enough for the bank. That's a lot of seats. I know what mine is. I'm going to do a little Salt Bay to see.
Do it. Oh.
Yes.
There it is.
Young South Americans delivering. There were 3 big signings into MLS this season. It's been a little bit spotty the last few years with some guys that just haven't reached their spots. Piti Martinez, who wasn't really that young, and then Ezequiel Barco. Brian Rodriguez at LAFC, for a guy who was viewed as like a $30, $40 million player, hasn't met that, although he's getting a little better. These 3 guys are off to the start you want. Alan Velasco scoring and now playing big minutes for FC Dallas, coming from Independiente in Argentina. Thiago Almada scoring right off the bench here for Atlanta. I imagine he starts in their next game, helping them tie Montreal 3-3, coming over from Vélez Sarsfield. And at Orlando City, Facundo Torres, the Uruguayan, coming from Peñarol, which gave us Diego Rossi and Brian Rodriguez. Lucas Cavallini played there as well. These 3 guys all scoring in the last 2 weeks. The best part about it is they look like they are really happy to be here. They are excited for this opportunity, which tells you coming to MLS is viewed differently than it was a few years ago. This is a place where you can launch your career. They're looking at the success stories of Miguel Almiron. They're looking at the success, even like a Ricardo Pepi, where you're young and you get in to that next club. Maybe they stay here a little bit longer, but it's great.
Bonus question.
Go for it.
We got a bonus question from Soccer USA because we love him so much for always.
He's our
being on
number
these
1
shows.
viewer, right?
It's between him and Thickety Wickets. But bonus question. 1 word thought on Berkey signing with St. Louis. Connor, 1 word.
Dope.
Berkey.
That's his word.
Is that your word?
Yeah, sure.
Berkey beat Borussia Dortmund goalkeeper has signed.
Oh, that's
has
right.
signed
That's
with-
right.
Yes,
Okay.
Now, what is your word?
Berkey.
Interesting.
Mine is goals.
They're gonna-
Hasn't been very good.
All right.
But interesting signing. I think. Look, they're building something.
You got to give me a first name.
They're building something German-based there in St. Louis, so I think that's a good first signing. Although, high-profile, international, and if he's going to be a DP goalkeeper,
No, he's not.
No,
I hope
no,
not.
no.
I don't know. I hope
he's
not.
not.
I hope not.
They would have.
I hope not. I don't know.
All right, that is it. Thank you guys so much for watching and participating in the chat. That's what makes this show so much fun, is hanging out with you guys. So don't forget, the show and LAFC 360 are available as audio-only podcasts as well. I know some of you get, freaked out a little bit when you actually have to see Max speak, because you're so used to just hearing him on the broadcast, right? That wasn't a diss at you, Max. It was more about the broadcast.
It sounded a little bit like this.
So we've got you covered. Just search for 110 Football on your podcast app of choice.
Hey, at
You
least
won't
we-
have to look at him.
At least we got him to wear pants. He doesn't wear pants when he does the broadcast.
I know, we do these rehearsals, no pants, no shirt.
No pants. I got to let things breathe.
I just
so
want to
don't get
say,
hit in
everyone
Boys need a big house.
Everyone in the chat is my favorite. It's hard to pick. I love all of you, and I love that you guys got us to 1,000. So hey,
Thank you
Thank
guys.
you.
No, thank you guys. There
Where
we
are we?
go.
1,004?
1K. Where are we going?
We're at 1,001.
Really?
But we'll be 2,000 by next show. Hey, guys, you've been great. We'll see you next Monday.
The next
Thank you, guys.
1,000's easier.
All about the